Hi everybody, it's Elizabeth with the Noonan Carnegie Library, and today we are going to create a miniature aquaponics system with a large canning jar. This is about 4 pints, 8 cups in size. I got this jar at Target for about $4.50, but you can find them online and various other stores as well. And it is a wide mouth ball canning jar. And the pots, the little pots that we get to hold the plants, will fit any wide mouth jar. As you can see, this is a short one, but you want one that's got sufficient water for our system here. And what aquaponics is it's a hydroponics growing system that involves a fish. And the fish serves the purpose of providing nutrients for the plant, and the plant serves the purpose of reducing the waste in the water for the fish. So it's kind of a symbiotic relationship between the two. More complicated, larger aquaponics systems will involve pumps that will pump the water through where the plants are, and it then is filtered and then goes down back into where the fish are. And so you can have a whole system that way. But this is just a sort of a mini system that you can do at home in order to kind of learn how aquaponics work and see it for yourself close up firsthand in a small scale. So we won't have any pumps, we won't have any aeration. You can add an aerator to this if you want to and just run it down in there to give a little extra oxygen to your fish. Not all of your fish will require that. Most of them, I've got a little goldfish here, you can do a betta fish. Most of them do just fine with just what the plant gets them, and you know, you can always add a water plant. If you see your system getting a little extra algae, you can also add a couple of snails to the setup to sort of clean the sides for you. You can add rocks to the bottom if you want to, just as a decorative element as well. But that's a pretty simple aquaponics system. So what we've got is, we've got our wide mouth canning jar, and this holds about 8 cups of water. And we've got the water up to cover just the bottom of our net pot. And we've got a net pot that will hold the growth medium for the plant and the plant at the very top of our setup. And this fits directly into the wide mouth canning jar, and you want to hold on to your lid ring because you can use that to hold your pot in place once you get your setup started. The other thing you have is growth medium. So growth medium replaces dirt in the system. You don't want dirt in this system. You want a medium that won't add extra debris into your water. So we have rock wool, and rock wool is kind of like cotton candy made out of rock. So it's spun out into thin fibers, but it is made out of rock. So it will last a really, really long time, and it won't, it's not like steel wool or anything. It won't deteriorate in your system. And the other thing we have is clay pebbles. These are pre-rinsed, but you do want to rinse them a little bit just to make sure you don't have any extra dust or debris. And get these ready before you set up your system. Put a little rock wool into the bottom of your pot, kind of shred it apart, put it in there. When you're working with this dry, you might want to wear rubber gloves. Working with it wet, it's a little easier, but when it's dry, like fiberglass, it can be like fiberglass a little bit, so you don't want to get that in your skin. So wear little rubber gloves if you want to. Put a little rock wool on the bottom, top that off. As you can see, I've got at the top of this clay pebbles. So about halfway up with rock wool, halfway up with clay pebbles. Make sure they're rinsed and good and wet. And then you can either introduce a seedling like I've done here, which already had roots, and I've just let them trail down into the water through the bottom of the pot before I packed the rock wool and the clay pebbles around it. Or you can start from seed, so that's your choice. I found it a little easier to go with the seedling, especially if this is the first time you're doing this kind of thing. And set this up several days in advance with the plant before you add your fish to it. But this is, like I said, a super easy way to get to learn how aquaponics work. And so once you've got your plant ready to go, we want to add our little fishy guy in here. So I've put a net pot into a jar to catch him. Sorry, fella. There we go. We're gonna stick him right in there. He's in jail. He doesn't like it. Here we go. Let's get him transferred. There you go, guy. All right. You can see he likes it in there. He's got lots of room. And I brought along a little feed for him. little goldfish food. And this is just a little inexpensive feeder goldfish that we had keeping company with one of our betas at home. You can also use betas for this project. They do well because they like to live alone for the most part. But this little guy, he cost us 16 cents at the PetSmart. And he's just been happy as pie for the last month or so living at home with our beta, whose name is Fish Kafka. We actually have 3 betas in 3 separate tanks. But this is the first time we've done the aquaponics, so I'm gonna see how he does. We may revisit this in a month and take some pictures and post those on this post as well, just to see how everything's going. But I think it's gonna be a perfectly fine system. I've seen these online, they work really well, super simple. Now, because we are not filtering this with anything except our plant, you may want to clean the water a little bit once a month or so, and what they recommended doing was set out fresh water, say in a gallon jug, and let it aerate, make sure it doesn't have any chemicals left in it, and then empty about half of this water out and add your fresh room temperature water, just to help keep it from overwhelming your plant setup. But mostly the plant should clean out the ammonia and other waste. Bacteria should transfer that into nitrates that will feed your feed your plant, and the plant will filter out that water for your fish. So it's a nice little comfortable symbiotic relationship. So that's our mason jar aquaponics with our sweet little goldfish guy. He looks happy in there. I think it's going to turn out well. Thank you so much for joining me on this little lesson on how to do aquaponics at home. I hope you'll look this up online and see how very elaborate these systems can get. They're beautiful setups for growing plants all year round and for providing food in the form of fish as well for your home use or for small farms. Thank you so much for joining me for that. And please do check our website at noonandcarnegie.com, as well as our YouTube and our Facebook page, our Instagram, and our Twitter. Thanks so much. I hope to see everyone again soon.